Okay, my name is Fred Roberts, and I've got a pretty good old guy here. I've got a guy named Richard Smith who has not only got a heart for the industry, the log home industry, but he is very knowledgeable in one of the most important things that comes along with log homes, and that is he is one of the people with 181 Custom Caulking. Now, I'll be truthful with you. I know what good caulking looks like. I know how to apply it wrong. But other than that, we've got somebody here who can tell us a little bit about the industry. And he has promised to send me a 181 hat.
That's
And
true.
so he hadn't asked me for my address, so that may be a weak point in the deal. So I want to make sure he gets it before the end of this talk. But when I'm starting out right now, Richard, would you would you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you personally got into this part of the industry and how what the relationship is with the log home industry?
That's great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I got into the construction trade at like age 30. So I worked in food service and I was an auditor
Really?
for a consulting firm. Yeah, yeah. And so, you kind of like take what you skill stack when you get into different careers. And I chose a career in the trades because it was scalable. It was more scalable than kind of anything else that I was doing. You only needed humans. And when you work in food service, you get really good at hiring people and you learn all these systems. So I just kind of took all that and added it into construction and it worked out quite well. And I chose caulking because they never got like we were never laid off and I could never afford to be laid off. I could never afford unemployment. So I always had to work. And I had kids early. So that was a big one for me. So that was a safe trade in a lot of ways to get into. And then when you get into caulking or you get into any trade, you kind of work on the rougher parts of it. So you do high-rise work, you work on subdivisions, my opinion, get in good into some of the stuff. And that's really where for me it was about where you worked and who you worked with more so than what you do. And so we had this opportunity to like work on really, really beautiful places, estates, waterfront, safe places to work, and with some of the best trades in the industry. Ontario, especially Muskoka, I mean, as far as like some of the best places in the world, you're working on projects that are $20 million for a home. And so you get to see some of the highest quality amount of work, like the best trades in the world, really. I think a lot of them are here. And so we got an opportunity to do that. And then we had a really, really good client that we've been with for years, put this offer in front of us to work on a log home. And I was lucky because Ken Reed out of Norlog is in Snow Valley, which is about 10 minutes from me. And I said, look, I've got this opportunity. Can you help me? And I didn't know him. I just knew him from the internet. And then he mentored me and showed me this trade. And that was about 3 years ago. And ever since then, it's been fantastic. And log homes are, you know, they're built in a manner and in a place that is in an environment you want to be in every day. So they're out in the woods. It's gorgeous, and it's everyone there likes what they're doing, and they're beautiful. There's no modernity in a log home. It's gorgeous and it's always gorgeous. And so that's kind of what drew me to it. And getting involved with the ILBA was just like just made sense for me. So long answer. Hopefully that suffices.
Let me ask you a question, Richard. What is kind of like for a, let's say, and you and I both agree, we have got to get young people involved in this
Yeah.
trade, this industry.
Yeah.
And uh, what would you say were the steps? In other words, does it take does it take a year? Does it take 3 years? Does it take 10 years? Is it always evolving to that journeyman position? What are you looking at there?
I would say there's two things. One, I would say like know what you want. And I think knowing what you want, again, it goes back to like, I mean, in my mind, labor is labor. So you're going to work hard on whatever you do. If you're working in construction, your body's your meal ticket. So, if you know like who you want to work with, where you want to work, when you want to work, it's really more important than what you do and why you do it. Honestly, like, why you do it, you need to make money. I don't think a lot of people have vocations where they're completely fulfilled by the act of what they're doing. They're really in love with winning. And so being good at something is what's going to motivate you every day. I'm not particularly passionate about caulking, but I am a nerd about caulking. I need to know everything about it because I want to be good at this thing, right? And that's kind of what motivates. Start with that sort of thing in mind. And the second thing would be like, I think the trades are really broken down into two different types of people. One are those of us who like to color and those of us who like to draw. So I don't want to draw the picture. I don't want to know, like, I don't want to think about what I'm doing. I want to put my headset in when I'm physically working and I want to listen to a podcast or I want to listen to music or I want to listen to an audiobook. And I want to kind of be in that zone where I am just immersed in what's in front of me. So if you put me on a building and it was back in the day when I did high rise, it would be an ocean of windows and they all look the same. And to a regular person, that monotony would drive them crazy. For me, that was escape. That was joy. It was like, oh, I get to do this all day. So when you work in a log home, there's something extremely satisfying about it. It's also kind of everything's in front of you. It's not, you don't have to work very hard to get to the work. You're not off a crazy ladder. You're normally in a machine, and it's so there's no there's no constraints. There's nothing like awkward about it. So you just get to pump the material on and then finish it, and it feels good and it looks good. So, yeah, I mean, to answer your question, know what you want and know what type of person that you are. So if you're a person who monotony would drive you crazy, and then go be a framer. Go work in one of those trades where you have to think, what's my next step? Siding company, framers, even if you're hanging drywall, like you got to measure and cut and all that stuff. So, and in that trade, there's a drywaller who's somebody who's drawing, and then there's the taper, someone who's coloring. And so you got to find out which one you're in and just run at that 100 miles an hour. And so, particularly into this trade, getting involved, I would say for anybody is start with the ILBA, because that'll give you a baseline if you're interested in this trade to kind of see where you're at next, and see what's out there, right?
Yeah. You know, I worked for my dad, and he had a construction business, and I would participate in certain points of it, and some people might would look at it and go, "Boy, that'd be monotonous." But if you do a job well, and you can kind of stand back and look at it, and you go, "Wow,
Mm-hmm.
that really," I mean, you can see if you're the person that's working with their hands and their mind, and they're doing the work, and you're doing it, you see the beauty in it. Now, somebody may look up there, even on those windows, and just see the caulking going around the windows.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody that does that type of work, and they just did 30 or 40 of those windows that day, they'll sit back and go, wow. And so you've got to find something when you're a craftsman, you've got to find something that makes you go, wow. And so
Sure.
it doesn't matter if you're glazing windows or caulking or uh, driving nails or whatever the case, but it's got to be something that you really enjoy. Now,
Yeah, totally. And I think working on log homes, like I think you hit the word right there is beauty. And not to get philosophical or woo
yeah,
woo, but like you have an opportunity to bring beauty into this world,
right.
and we have a lack of it.
Well,
Drive down any city in North America, unless it's old, a new city looks kind of soulless, and it doesn't have the charm. And you drive through an old city, they've restored the brick, and there's beautiful eyebrows, and there's courses, and there's beauty for the sake of beauty. And I would say to anybody who's watching this right now, go look at a church. Go look at a church where they put an addition on it. The church is gorgeous. Windows are huge. Entranceways are 10, 12, like 10, 12 feet tall, wide,
Right.
gorgeous, breathtaking. And look at the addition they built. The addition looks like it's a cancer growing on the side of,
Yeah.
of something gorgeous.
Yeah, an
And it
add on.
should be ripped apart.
Yeah,
It
it's
shouldn't
an add
exist.
on. Yeah, you're right.
No. And so when you work on a log home, it's beautiful. It's always beautiful.
Yeah.
And
You know,
we're charged with bringing beauty into this world.
I live
And so
outside
even
of
the ones that are
town.
rough,
Yeah.
even the ones that are rough, Fred, like the ugly ones, the ones that aren't loved, guys like me and anyone in the ILB will say, oh, I can make that look gorgeous again. I can bring that thing back to its beauty, and it lives forever. And for me personally, that's a big deal. I've only ever lived in old homes. I don't only ever bought old houses, and I just love to see more of it. So on top of growing my business and all these other things that I need to do, I get to be a part of that, and there's an emotional thing for that for sure for me.
Yeah. The I live in a log home, needless to say, and uh, every day, and I work in one of those little small towns you're talking about. There's 250 people if somebody didn't die last night. But I live and work in a small town, but my house is 5 miles out of town. And
Hmm.
every day I go home, I see my log home is where I want to live, not where I have to live. And
Yeah,
that's where most log homes are. Most log
yeah.
homes are somewhere where you want to live. And
Hmm.
so whether it's a second home or whatever, log homes are great. And
Hmm.
it,
Yeah, they're gorgeous, right?
so, but you've got to have the skilled labor to make that log home make it.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. And I think there's a lot of people out there, I've heard different views on this one, but I think there's a big crossover right now, in Ontario anyways, in my market, where we have a lot of guys who are in they're arborists. And
yeah,
the wages for arborists, like some guys do really well, but it doesn't pay like some of the other trades. And the reason the market's saturated. So I think if anybody who's in that trade right now and is looking for a switch, I mean, we work with chainsaws, we work with wood. You're out in the middle of nowhere oftentimes, so the environment and the people and everything about it, it's a lot safer too.
well,
Like
and
some
this is me
crossover there
saying
as
this. I
far as the
like,
labor market.
yeah, and it's just like me. I'm an insurance agent, and I have to deal with computers all the time, and I don't
Mm,
let computers make my decisions. I use them as a tool. But but
mhm.
when I get home, I like to work with my hands. I like to do stuff around the farm. And if you're willing to work on log homes, and this is the deal. The log home industry is only about 3% of the total amount of homes out there. But
Right.
you can either be, you can be that guy that works in the city, the big city,
Mhm.
and you're a little fish in a big pond, or you
Yeah.
can be that guy that works in a small pond, but you're a big fish. And if
Yeah.
you're willing to work and learn a trade in the log home timber frame industry, there will always be a job for you.
Yeah,
And,
I think so. And especially with technology like Starlink, um,
oh,
like we've seen it in particular. Like we have clients because in my region, I'm about an hour north of a large city of Toronto, right?
right.
So for us, we're actually kind of central. We're an hour from Muskoka, which is the number one summer vacation spot in the world.
Really?
And then an hour from other really, really high end markets. So for us personally, like I'd rather go an hour north where the traffic is always the same, where it's trees and it's gorgeous and it's safe and no one getting shot. Your truck's not going to get stolen. You're not paying for parking. You're not in rush hour. The quality of life is just there. It's just a better quality of life. And it's a different environment. Like we started our business in the GTA. I was a site super for a large restoration company, and I would build my business on evenings and weekends. So I'd finish at 5, I drive to my local, I was on a job site for 3 to 6 months. I'd canvass that area, I'd find builders, and I would go caulk their houses for them on the weekends and in the evenings with the guys that I work with. And it was a good system. And then when I moved up north and I started dealing with builders, it was like, well, how many tenders do you have for this one? And they would just kind of look at me like, no one. Like we had a guy, we fired him. He wasn't a good caulking contractor. So if you get the work, you're the guy. And the loyalty behind that, things are different. It's a different environment. Like if you do good work and you're not going to hold anybody over a barrel because they're not tendering the price to anybody else, and you're honest and true. Like I've had the same clients for 10 years. Like and they say we're not shopping it around. And it's like you're our guy. You're and that goes for my competitors too. Like I'll call up some people like, hey, are you interested? And they're like, look, no, we've been dealing with this guy for 5, 10 years, whatever. We're not switching. And so up here, this market is better, I think, for how you're going to be treated in general than most major cities, in my opinion, right? I could be wrong.
Well, I think you're on track because in my part of the log home industry, it's not whether there is, at one time it was materials. You can't find materials. Well, you can find materials. You may have to wait a little bit, but the hardest thing to find, be truthful with you, is the craftsman to do the work. And so
Yeah.
if you were a young person and you wanted to work in that environment of which you were speaking, the log home industry is a great place to be. And
Yeah.
so
It's incredible. And
I
it's
mean,
a 7 to 1. It's like for every 5 or 7 journeymen that retire, one is replacing them.
yeah, yeah.
A job in the trades is it's an excellent career move. But again, if you don't really kind of know what you want and where you want to be, you're gonna have a harder time with it. But if this environment kind of suits you, then yeah, totally. And it's a niche market. Like there's very few people out here doing this. And I think part of the ILBA is to help grow the industry. I think at this point it's important that the focus be growing the industry as much as humanly possible, and exposing people to this type of build and this type of home that you could live in, that's going to live forever. It's got a better R value. There's really very little maintenance on it compared to some of the horror stories that people say if they've mistreated their log home or somebody built it improperly. Yeah, it's a nightmare. But if it's built well, it lives forever.
We just, you talked about the R value. We're doing some testing with another group I'm associated with, and the R value has always been kind of up in the air. Well, we're having some testing done in 3 different environments, and right now it's showing a tendency to be 20 log homes are showing to be, or log structures are showing to be 20% greater than what a standard type of home is with standard insulation. So
Incredible.
oh yeah, and that's not equal to, that's 20% better. Think
It's
of what
incredible.
that
Yeah.
is. Yeah, I mean that's unbelievable. But
Mhm.
uh I wish, and there may be in Canada, there's not in the United States or the lower 48, there is in the upper 13. But uh I wish there was a trade school where these people could go to learn this craft. Otherwise,
Right.
you're going to have to rely on someone like you, Richard, to take somebody and show them how to do this. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to fall in love with it just like you did. I mean, they're working in a great environment.
Yeah, well, all of our guys too. We took all of our guys who were caulkers, and then we
Mhm.
turned them into chinkers. And we don't just use this product for log homes. We'll use it to log on custom homes where we want
Sure,
the masonry joint
sure.
that's touching the window frame to look rough. So we use, we really like Sashco. They've been really, really good to us. So we use log jam and we'll use it like caulking, and it looks so cool. And we are one of the few peoples as far as as far as I know, I'm the only guy in my market that uses it. And my setup cost to get into it was like a couple $100 on guns,
Really.
and but it's buckets, right? It's not sausages. It's a bit of a different thing for guys to pick up. But yeah, the product's incredible, and I've turned a dozen guys over into it, and so we're doing our part for sure, but no one's complaining. Let's put it that way.
Let me ask you a question, Richard. People are going to watch this, and the the first question, if I was a young person or if I was somebody in this industry, you're quote unquote the expert. How would I get in touch with you? Or is that even okay? Is there a website, a phone number,
Yeah,
a
totally. Yeah, yeah. I always answer my phone. I mean, I'm paid to answer my
Richard,
phone.
you're
That's my
old school.
job.
You're answering the phone.
Yeah, I like, I don't know. I've got a word count, about 5,000 words a day. After that, my brain doesn't work anymore.
I
So,
got you.
anywhere between 6 a.m. and 2 p.m., I'm super sharp. After that, nothing happens. But yeah, 181
Oh,
customcaulking.com,
yeah, slow down a little bit. I'm old.
no problem.
I'm writing it down. Go ahead.
181, just the numbers, and then custom caulking.
Okay.
That'll come up. And then just on Instagram is probably it's been our biggest sales tool has been Instagram. Not for outward marketing. For me, I cold call a lot of my clients. I'm like a sniper. I want to pick and choose who I work for. So we
Sure.
use Instagram a lot. So at 181 custom caulking on Instagram. And then yeah, my phone number. We can put all the links in the bio and everything. But I can put my phone number up and yeah, I always answer my phone and I'll talk to anybody, even if you're not in my market. If you can't work for me or whatever, like if you want to talk about the trade or you want to get, if you have questions about it, I have to do my part to kind of help, uh, personally, mentor, young men into this industry. So if you're a young guy and you're listening to this and you want to talk to somebody about how do I get into the trade, what do I do? We're talking about putting together a couple of videos about like what's in your tool belt, what's in your pouch,
That'll
what
be
does it
good.
cost, how do you get started, and then some instructional videos on like how to tool, how to apply, how to prep, how to tool, and then just like some of the harder stuff, the more advanced stuff like uh, temperature, sunlight, chinking in the wintertime in cold climates, like how do you deal with that? Some of the more advanced stuff that I think Ken and I were talking about, maybe putting some videos together to help guys just understand the trade a little bit, and then also some of the language part, like what do some of the terms mean? So if somebody walks on a job site, you can train them because you're all speaking the same language.
Yeah. Let me tell you what, the videos would be great. The
Yeah,
videos would be great. And it'd not only be great for young people, but it'd be good for us old people too. If we had a job that we needed to take care of and there was no, I mean, I don't know who I'd call around here to get some of that type of work done. I, you know, I guess I'd try to read something or now, unfortunately for you, Richard, I've got your phone number and your email, and I know you'll answer the phone, so I'm going to call you and get the information I need. And uh, is there anything you'd like to add here before we close and to add to anyone? I think we're stuck on I think we know everything we could possibly know about caulking, but not everything. Oh, there we go. There he's coming back. There he is.
I'm back. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Did you hear what I said?
I heard about bringing people on and finding someone now.
Yeah,
That's
well, if I don't know what I would do. I don't know.
right.
So what I'm gonna have to do is call you. And so
I'll come down and see you.
yeah, you shouldn't have given me your phone number and your email. And me and about another 100,000 people have it. So prepare yourself.
That's fine. That's
But
fine.
the other thing I need to go before I sign off, Richard, is what's the 181 stand for?
It means family. It's just cool. So it's not that interesting of a story, but people ask that a lot. So the brand is good. Numbers are cool. It sounds kind of like it sounds like a union almost. It's like 911 for caulking. I'm not quite sure, but we just made all that stuff up later. Actually, my wife took the last two digits of everybody's birthday in our family. So
Yeah.
I'm 82, she's 84. And then that was we have 5 kids, so that was a couple kids ago. So I don't know what it would be. It would be 220 caulking or something now. I have no idea. So she just took the last one and it came out to 181, and it's kind of cool. And we just named the company that, and it's the top search on Google no matter what you do,
And it's
next to
working.
paid ad. Yeah, because it's number one. So it works and it's easy to remember, and yeah, that's kind of it.
I've got it. And Post Office Box 72, Fayetteville, Texas, 78940. There you go. See there, I didn't forget. I want my 181
I'll
hat.
get you one. I'm getting some new ones, and I'll make them a little bit cooler for you. Maybe put the Star of Texas on there.
Oh
You
man.
know, you know. Yeah, I'm,
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of your
You do
state.
that and
I
I'll send
spent
you
some
one.
time down there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, come on down. We don't have any cold weather, so you can
No,
call
you
me
don't. You
around here.
don't. But you don't have the hills or the lakes that we do, and you have snakes,
Well, we
and
have snakes.
you got serious snakes. And
Yeah.
so, in Ontario, you jump in the lake, you're the biggest thing in the lake. So that's kind of the safety part of it for sure. But no, I've spent some time down in your state. I love it. Everyone's nice. It's very
Well,
rare you go to a place and everyone is super sweet. And
I
why
know.
would you be if you live there? It's a paradise.
Well, I've spent a little time in Canada, and I enjoy it up there. It
Yeah.
uh, I'd go back anytime. But anyway, Barb, can you think of anything else we need to cover? I know. Let me add to the end of this. I know that y'all are going to be putting together for the people that are going to watch this. You might want to contact Richard, and his information will be there at ILBA. I think you're one of the board of directors now, and
Hmm.
so he's what that tells you, folks, is he's serious. He wants to make a difference. And if not, call ILBA and our International Log Builders Association and get this man's number. In fact, I'd advise you to call him before you start a project, just to get an idea of what to watch out for when you've got somebody else doing that type of his work on your house, because he might be able to tell you something in 5 minutes that could save you a lot of money.
Yeah. How to spot the frauds, you
Yeah,
know?
there you go.
That's a
That,
big one. Like we
yeah.
we come across some of these builds and they're huge and they're wrecked. There's no salvaging them because they were built so poorly, and it's who would have built this? All the architects said do this. It's like, yeah, it's got to be off the ground though. Like the logs are touching the ground, they're all rotting. Like
Um,
who
well,
knows how to do this type of work and did this to you is brutal.
yeah.
So yeah, not really fair.
Well,
Yeah.
you are an important contact, and I'm not just saying that because we're on the video here. I'm saying that because you are an important contact for people that are either starting to build, have already built, and may have some questions, and you have put yourself out there and you're willing to talk to people.
Yeah,
And
happy to do it. That's
yeah,
my job. And
for that
especially
I appreciate it.
and listen, anybody who's looking to get into the trade, I've mentored lots of young men getting into the trade, and that's a big one. And so yeah, if anybody's looking to get started, yeah, I always answer my phone and give you the best career advice I can. And I've helped launch a couple careers and a couple small businesses with guys who are just getting their feet wet. And it's exciting to see the future. 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, where some of these guys are, and it's exciting. I'm really, really happy to be a part of that. So yeah, definitely, if you're looking to get into the trade, call me, and give you the best advice I can. I'll give you honest advice, anyways.
Well, like I said, I advise people to call you or to email you or text you or whatever, but they need
Oh,
to
sure.
talk to you before they start a project.
Yeah.
They're going to have the chinking or the caulking or anything involved in it. You need to talk to a professional and someone I feel like you can trust. And talk is cheap, but it may save you a lot of money. And so,
Hmm.
Barb, I'm fixing to sign off. And
Sounds good.
Richard, take care of yourself, and I'll see. Hey, what's that map behind you?
That's Ontario. Those are just some of the territories. There's a couple X's in there for places we won't go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, we stay out of Toronto. God bless
Ah,
the city. It's
well,
not what it used to be.
how many log homes you got in Toronto?
We don't have any log homes in
Yeah,
Toronto,
that's
but
that goes back to that big pond with little fish, or you can
yeah.
be a big fish in a small pond.
Yeah,
So,
those are our territories. Ontario's huge. It's 15 million people, and
wow,
yeah, it's a
wow,
big yeah, and it's you could be drive for 20 hours and still be in Ontario. It's it's not a Texas though. It's not a
yeah,
Texas. So
that's okay.
we
We've
know who
got
the big dog
our.
is.
I tell you what, we'll give you Houston if you want it.
No, it's all right.
I
That's all
understand.
right. That's all right. We'll be the 51st state pretty soon, I'm sure. So
Oh yeah, I forgot.
yeah, yeah.
We don't.
Apparently that's what's happening. So
Yeah, remember we're Texas. We don't want anybody else.
yeah, you'll be your
Yeah,
own country.
we're our
Yeah,
own.
yeah, yeah.
We're one of only two that can separate from Trump, I guess you could say.
You
Well, all
could be
right.
a super state. Yeah.
Well, take care and thank you very much for your
Thanks,
time.
Fred.
It's very
Yeah.
informative and uh, your name is on my list here, and so I will. If you don't mind, I'm gonna give it out to people when they ask.
Yeah. Sure.
Uh,
Sure. I love it. Sounds
take care.
great.
Well, all right. Well, Barb, I will see you later. Take care.
Take
You
care, guys.
you